I'm going to ask Rosanna if she'd come up for a moment. We're asking congregants that are members that are actively involved in the community to share a little bit about why they pledge, so that it just doesn't sound like me or Neil or the board speaking about it. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Rosanna de Leon, for those who don't know me. And whenever I was asked to speak about why we contribute and why we pledge to the center, to me and to my husband, it is our spiritual home. We've been members for about 10 years now, and it is very important for us to contribute to the things that we believe in. And this center we've been window shopping for a center, about 11 years ago when we finally found it. And since then, we've been contributing and pledging our monies and our talents, and we have a very special connection with the center, especially knowing that after so many centers didn't make it, it makes it even prouder, to see that we did. We have such a congruent congregation. And to me, especially, it is my subscription to my spiritual life. Just like we sign up for some magazines, this is our spiritual subscription. And we tend to contribute for as long as we can. And we realize that, sometimes it gets tight for some people and the pledges are a little hard to achieve. But as it was in the newsletter of this month, I am ready to help with whatever, the shortage that some people may have. We are here to perhaps fill in the gap, But basically, this is our spiritual home, and we try to be here for as long as possible. And yes, we will be here in 40 years, Neil.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much. Oh, so money's coming to me easily and effortlessly. Money's coming to me. When that song was playing, how'd you feel about that? Were you actually singing the words? Were you listening to the words you were singing? Yeah? Excellent. So this month we've been talking about finances. And it's always fun when we talk about finances the same month as a pledge campaign, because you feel like all you're hearing about is money, money, money. And the truth of the matter is, many of us hear the word money and there's an instant trigger reaction that occurs in our body. We may not even be aware of it. And that is because we were raised on so many levels that money, for some reason, is the root of all evil. It's bad. You shouldn't have it. And therefore, you'll block whatever you need to block to allow more into your life. Now, for those of us that have been on our path spiritually, we start to look at belief systems and ask ourselves, where does that fit in? Is that true? Is that true, or did I make it up and just keep going along with the flow? And if it's not true any longer, where do I need to make a shift? That's where we talk about that mental equivalence in the class. Where do I need to make a shift in my own mind and thought process so that I don't have that belief any longer? And I've been speaking about this for the past few weeks. And I'm certain some of you thought, what's she going to say this week? She's been talking about it for 3 weeks already, so goodness gracious. So you've heard the expression, as you believe, it is done unto you. Yes? Okay. Anyone willing to share a myth you have about money? It's not right or wrong. Just share when you hear the word money, what comes up for you. Anybody?
Money doesn't grow on trees.
I keep looking in the backyard, and it appears to be that that's the truth. Thank you. I'll stop looking now. Thank you. Yes?
There's never enough.
Oh, my gosh. And I wanted those new shoes. Okay. Anybody else want to share when they hear the word money? Yes.
Often always when I see like in movies, it always somehow corrupts people.
Ah, the corruption. So instead of money's coming to me easily and effortlessly, money's coming to me, we're thinking it's something that is tainted. Okay. And because we believe, not all of us, only maybe a few, and the few are probably not even realizing that they are blocking our good. Okay? We're blocking our good. And I love that song, Money's Coming to Me Easily and Effortlessly, because if we sing that, which is its own form of affirmation, we remind ourselves it is coming to us easily and effortlessly, and we need to stop thinking it's hard. We need to stop thinking that it's going to be a whole lot of work, probably won't get there. And most of us were raised to believe that money comes from your job, investments, gambling for some, and also spouses or other people. So it's an outward thing. You're looking outward for this money. Like when I get the raise, I can take the vacation. When I get the bonus my boss promised me 3 years ago, that I'm still chasing the carrot to get the bonus, I'll be able to have this. And so we have all these interesting conditions on how we allow money to come into our life. And I caught myself recently doing the same thing. And I know better, as many of us know better. I caught myself saying something and then saying cancel, 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 and declaring, instead of wondering how is it going to happen, declaring that my car is completely paid off. I don't need to know how it's happening. I don't need to know. Because if I believe it to be the truth, that it's coming easily and effortlessly from known and unknown sources, then I have opened up my receptivity to allow that flow. Whereas when I think, well, I need to work this many hours at this job doing this, and maybe go over here and get a part-time gig for more money from this. Oh, and then if I do this, oh yeah, then I can make a payment on this. We're so locked up energetically in the outward appearance of what the money's about. How is it coming to us easily and effortlessly? I don't see it happening. It feels kind of burdensome to me, which then spins into the whole thing about money's evil. So I also love the song that Karen Drecker sings, God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Say that with me. God gives me everything I need. Then why are we looking outside for money to appear from the tree in the backyard that's dormant? Why are we looking? If we genuinely say money is just God in action, what does that mean, money is God in action? We say it. It's part of a prayer. We say it. To me, it means that if God provides me with absolutely every single thing, then the demonstration showing up in those greenbacks or God green love or money is part of that flow, as opposed to this separate thing called there's God and money's somewhere else over here. And we keep dancing over here, but talking about God over here. We can sing a song that God gives me everything I need, so I give thanks for all my blessings. Say it with me. I give thanks, you're saying it, for all my blessings. That's right, because God does provide me with absolutely everything I need. So the more we keep looking outside, singing that lovely little song, money, 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 it's like, you know what, we're caught up in a loop, and we're not open to the receptivity of how it's going to look. For instance, finance team's working on a budget. Oh my God, how are we going to make this happen? Well, we start out with believing God gives me everything I need. I'm open to receiving that. It comes to me from known and unknown all the time. So it's to get out of this habit of believing that there's that separateness. Here's a quote, and this is a man that I started reading his works when I was in my 20s. I was reading a lot of books in my 20s and 30s that I had no idea were new thought, science of mind, or just metaphysical books in general. Thanks to Mother passing them off to me, saying, here, read this. God is a giver and the gift. Man is the receiver. God dwells in man. You can change that gender pronoun to whatever you want it to be. And this means that the treasure house of infinite riches is within me, within you and you and you, and all around you and me. By learning the laws of mind, because it all starts in mind, you can extract from the infinite storehouse within yourself, within you, everything you need in order to live a life gloriously, joyously, and abundantly. And that's from Joseph Murphy in Your Infinite Power to Be Rich. That book's been around, and he was around a long time. This is not new information. We're just still needing to have a wake-up call. And it doesn't matter whether you're a youngster or someone a little more mature. Today's a new day. It's a new opportunity to be right where you need to be in that. So what I want to remind you of is that if we shift our consciousness from the effect of money being out there, monetary goods, and bring it into our consciousness of cause, which is spirit, source energy, then we're in the flow. But every time we shift it back into this monetary goods clinging and clutching mode, we're in fact blocking the flow and wondering why money doesn't come to me easily and effortlessly. And then we're wondering why that prayer I did with that prayer practitioner didn't work either. Well, you know, we can only do so much in our prayers. We need you to step up and be part of that process in your prayer. So I'm just thinking about this. Do you realize that when we put all of our attention outward and think of money as an outward experience, we are essentially giving up our personal power to money? How does that feel? Let me say that again. You and I, we're giving our personal power up to a green bill. How does that feel? Yeah, ouch. Yeah, exactly. How it feels is this. I didn't realize I was giving up my personal power to money. That's not what I want to do. No, because it's the exact opposite that you want to have. You don't want to give up your power. You've been working on developing your spiritual beingness to own your personal power, not allow a monetary thing out there to snatch it from you, which then it continues to reverse your flow. And again, the more we put our energy outward, what we're doing is we're diluting the mutation, if you will, so that our manifestations are less and less and less instead of more and more, because we are back into that place called God is this separate energy. But yet we sing a song, God is my source and God is my power. And we sing it here every week at the end of services. This is what happens. We get so used to saying things we're not even remembering the words we're using. And so I want you to just think about this. Money has no power over me. And I'd like you to say that. Money has no power over me. Say it again for me. Money has no power over me. And pay attention to what that feels like inside. Just notice. There might be some chatter, and you get to pay attention to that chatter a little bit later. So again, as you believe, it's done unto you. We need to break the cycle of constantly looking as though money is this outward experience that owns us. and to remember that our whole purpose in life is not to keep reviewing our bank account, expecting that something else appeared in it. And I'm guilty of it. I catch myself sometimes and think, really? Really? And then I get to sit down, drop into prayer, and remind myself, as a daughter of the Beloved, I accept my divine birthright of the bounty the kingdom wants to provide for me. Great Spirit, God, Source Energy, wants us to be abundant, wants us to have all that we need with plenty to share and to spare, and it's us that blocks it. I'm not talking about the pledge campaign. I'm talking about your life. How this shows up in your life, how we immediately say things like, oh, I can't afford that. Oh, I need that. Oh, but I can't afford it. Oh, but, well, and then we're in a loop. Don't want you to do it. You can keep doing it, but I don't want you to do it. Now, when I started trying to think about a talk, I was looking at all these different books that I have from all these different wonderful people that have written about abundance. And nothing was nothing was clicking. I felt like I was forcing the issue. And what I like to do when I look at books is I like to do what I call a cosmic message. It means I open the book, open up a page, and see what Spirit brought for me to read. And sometimes, of course, I cheat a little bit because I open the page and don't like what I opened. I'm messing with the flow again, trying to control the flow by, oh, no, that's not the right page. Let me find a better page. There's a better one. So I pulled out this book that I love. It's a little book, the little green book, The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. This man, this first circulation of this book was in 1987. So he was not new on the scene for writing abundance books, but certainly he was one of the very beginners of speaking about our value and our abundance and getting those on the metaphysical movement to pay more attention. And so this book has so many little nuggets, and it has a 40-day prosperity reading. And sometimes I go through the whole thing. And lately I've been doing the affirmation I've asked us to read for our community, as well as this book. And so when I look through the book, I did a couple of cheats. Of course, I opened it randomly, and oh, that's not the page I'm looking for. And then I stopped myself and said, be receptive to your good. God's providing you with everything, including whatever the page is to open. Stop controlling the flow. See, we do that with something as simple as a book we're looking at. So I want to read you a little something. There's a few of these, and the way this 40-day works is you do 10, one each day, then you start it again, and you do that for 40 days. Well, I just picked one because I thought it would be really spectacular. Maybe. Yeah. And I actually have a few of these books. One of them was digested by one of my older dogs, you know, because I study and she studies too. Okay, here we go. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. And then I sit after I read it and I let that just resonate in my body. Rich, lavish abundance. Sounds kind of decadent, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't know about you, but I like decadence, so I'm going for that. Yeah. Yes. Well, there was also another reading that I want to read, and as I read this, I want you to listen to this and let it resonate over you. Meaning I don't want you to just hear the words. I want you to be in it, feel it. This day, and then you're supposed to say the date, so I will. This day, October 23rd, I cease believing in visible money as my supply and my support. And I view the world of effect as it truly is, simply an outpicturing of my former beliefs. I believed in the power of money. Therefore, I surrendered my God-given power and authority to be objectified belief, to an objectified belief. I believed in the possibility of lack, thus causing a separation in consciousness from the source of my supply. I believed in mortal man and carnal conditions, and through this faith gave man and conditions power over me. I believed in the mortal illusion created by the collected consciousness of error thoughts. And in doing so, I have limited the unlimited. Let me say that again. I have limited the unlimited. No more. This day, I renounce my so-called humanhood and claim my divine inheritance as a being of God. This day, I acknowledge God and only God as my subsistence, my supply, and my support. Allowing that to be my truth. Allowing that to be my truth will help me, you, whomever, to shift this part of us that has a knee-jerk reaction and response to things in an old way, so that we can, in fact, have a new way of having a relationship with an abundance in our life, abundance of health, abundance of joy, abundance of wealth, an abundance of all things that fill us up, as I had said with my cloak on, the cloak of goodness. Okay? On this day, because it's a brand new baby day. I woke up today, so I have a restart. You know, you can go through the day, catch yourself and say, oop, oop, but you get a chance to stop and say, cancel, cancel, which means you caught yourself going down that road that's familiar, saying, ooh, that doesn't work so well. And by saying cancel, you're reminding yourself, I am canceling out that thought process. You're also letting God's source energy spirit know you are paying attention. You're paying attention. Because I like to have this visual, and I've said this to you before, that God's source energy is sitting there like the Staples has that easy button, and it says, that was easy, and you hit the button. Well, I believe that God has this button that's called the pause button. And God is waiting for you as you go down the road and do your little thing to catch up with yourself and stop yourself from your automatic behavior. So the pause button's been hit, and as soon as there's an understanding that, yes, I'm doing it differently today, that button is released and the flow is wide open. All you needed to do is be willing and receptive, saying, money is coming to me easily and effortlessly. Money is coming to me, or any other version of that, including God is my source. So the past few weeks I've given it to many people who asked, and I have more. This is written by the beloved, recently retired Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse. It was an abundance affirmation, or an increased income affirmation for his community. Came out of a very old Creative Thought magazine. Some of you are too young to know what that was. Sad. I And I'm going to change that because I said we could read it for ourselves and we can read it for our community. Since I'm reading it for our community, we at CSL Beaumont know that God is the source of all supply and that money is God in action. We know that our good is here now. I am so rich and so full that, actually, let me catch myself, we, not I as well, but I is for me personally, and this is for the community. We know that prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This universal law, wow, I'm all over the place. I'm making it up differently, Dr. John, sorry. This word which I speak in faith, knowing, now activates universal law, and we accept the results. We bless all that we have now, and we bless the increase. We know that we now prosper in every way, and we give thanks for this good, and so it is. So if we're willing to share this, if we're willing to read this and collectively believe that whatever it is that we are putting together for 2023 is already available. It's already here. We're planning it to have an idea of structure. God's already got this because why? God provides us with everything that we need. So instead of us making limits on our unlimited good by saying, oh, we can't put that in the budget, it won't work. We just dream big and we just declare. And I ask you to keep that in mind for every aspect of your own life. Catch yourself from the language that says, I can't. Catch yourself from the language of saying, oh yeah, well, when I get this, then that can happen, then that can happen. We're not opening our flow. So let's just be open and receptive to our good because we are beloved children of the divine. Are we worthy of that? Are we? Yes. Okay. Ask yourself, am I worthy of my unexpected good from known and unknown? Yes. Okay. And if any part of you is feeling like, well, I don't really think that's for me, but maybe these other people, pay attention to that piece that wants to resist it so that you can lean in and ask, what's that about? And shift it and change it. And so with that, I'd like us to take a moment to just be still and go into that prayerful space within our heart, our mind, and our body, just to remember God, and whatever other word you choose to call God, is everywhere present, seen and unseen, always known and available. And me, you, sons and daughters of those of the beloved, open ourselves to be receptive to all of our good because it is our divine birthright. Each one of us reminds ourselves, because we are interconnected to that God source, that a way is always made, and we celebrate and give thanks in advance for the expected, the accepted, and the graciousness of all that we are allowing to flow into our life. We give thanks and we also let go of that part of us that might possibly be in resistance to something new. We let it go, knowing God's got us. And as I've spoken this word and released it to the action of law, there is only a sacred yes, because we've released the pause button to allow that flow to move through. So calling it good and very good, I ask that if any of this resonates, you anchor it by saying with me, and so it is.